Good day and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be the last battle cruiser build from the ones available at T7. So before we get into the build itself, I'm going to ask you all to please leave a like or comment on my video. Consider subscribing to my channel, and if you don't like the content, leave a dislike and a comment saying where I've gone wrong. Okay, so getting into the build, the Myrmidon. So the Myrmidon is another battle cruiser type vessel. That makes it the second battle cruiser with drones in this class of vessel. So the battle cruisers have two drone ships. That means they have two PvE based ships. Now, drone class ships work best in PvE. I've explained it before, but let's go over the slots and how to best match them up. Okay, so first things first, looking at the amount of slots. It has 5 drone slots, 3 weapon slots. Now, the drones and weapons work together with each other, and you swap them around based on what you are equipping in terms of weapons or drones. So, since the drones are your primary here when you're going into battle, you're going to use them for most of your damage. And since you're only going to be able to learn one weapon at a time, it's going to be best to stick in that range using the weapon and the drones to counter each other so you can do good damage against both the shield and the armor. Okay, so getting into it. So if you're going to run EM drones, you're going to run uh, a projectile weapon like a cannon. If you are going to run explosive drones, you are going to run a EM weapon like a laser. If you are going to run the center two, which is missiles and railguns, you are going to run thermal and kinetic. The thermal and kinetic are swappable between the two because they both round about the exact same power, and it works good on both of them. Now, the missile launcher can work with all the class of drones because of its all-round damage type deal. So that's where you can use it to just use any drone that you want with it, just to give you that extra boost through whatever you're going into. Okay, now that's how you're going to match them up, and that's how you generally will keep your weapons. Now moving on to your mid slot. In your mid slot, this is going to be a long range fighter. You're going to want to keep yourself out of the main part of the battle. So for your mid slots, the best options over here are going to be double Weber Fire and a Norse Energy Drain. Standard on what I put on any uh, battle cruiser so far. That's because you want to slow down ships more and you want to just drain that power out of them quickly. A caltrop won't help you that much because you're draining smaller vessels who regain capacitor much faster than yourself, and it really isn't going to help you to whack out the power on any other ship because of the range that you're going to want to keep. Later, when we've entered into advanced command, you might consider putting a caltrop instead of a double Weber Fire so that you can knock out the power on any vessel that's a bit too heavy on shield or armor regen, slowing them down so that you can do more damage. Okay, moving on, your low slot. Now, 5 low slots mean you're going to have to equip the right fittings. So there are 3 drone fittings, which I didn't notice with 3. I actually thought there were only 2, even though I have read all 3 of them. The damage control, the navigation, and the optimizer. So running all 3 will give you better range, better damage, and better speed on your drones. And they can all be overclocked to give you 4 times the power in any one of those fields. So that's something that you're going to use in battle. It's going to give you that slight edge. It's going to allow you to keep a larger range when it comes to using the ship. Okay, so your low slots when it comes to loading up for combat. Now, on this vessel, your low slots for combat are going to be all 3 into your drones again: damage, range, and velocity. You want the fastest possible drones, you want the heaviest possible damage, and you want to have the largest range on where you're fighting. Okay, so that is going to be your weapon slots straight into the drones. If you're using anything else on this, it's not so much. going to be a good ship for playing into the battles because you want to stay out of the general range of most of the enemies. So your low slot, what are you going to equip? So this is where it goes with the swap around. The two which are going to be constant is capacity regen and velocity increase. I haven't even completed the low slots. Have I just explained the three? Okay, wait. So I did forget something. I'm gonna go back to it in the mid slot. So you're either going to have um, the additional capacitor increase for 25% extra power, or you're going to have a warp speed increase on this vessel to allow you to move away or get away from combat a little bit quicker. So going back to the mid slot, there are two slots that I have left empty in my best build. So thinking about it, what am I going to put in mid slots to fill in for the remaining two? I'm going to think about putting a shield regen because it's still possible that you're going to take small damage on your shield regen. With the improved AI and improved targeting systems, small vessels will close the distance on you and they will get in on your battle cruiser to attack you. So even if you're running an afterburner and warp drive is just going to help you get out of the range of the battle. It's not really going to help you with keeping the fight going properly. So not really going to be um, too big of a thing. So running a micro warp drive with it could be used if you're gonna reduce one of your drone slots. I'd suggest taking off drone velocity. Sorry. So removing drone velocity is gonna allow you to fight with a micro warp drive, an afterburner, and a shield regen. Now that's going to allow you to tank a little bit more, and it's going to give you the chance to get away. The ship is generally based towards the armor build, but once your command level goes into advanced and you have enough research, it will be able to run the armor build quite properly. It's the same for Amar ships. Once we're in advanced command and we have completed it, you could run a tank build on your vessels because of the improvements in their velocity and their inertial measurement unit, giving you a better turnaround speed and a better firepower. So you can actually get away from a fight or destroy a ship before it destroys your armor, and then you can start running armor boosting instead of range boosting, which I don't see the reason to do it in PvE. The only reason you're using drone ships is to cheese through missions. Okay, so going on to the next thing that you might be thinking about, where do we break down the stats on this? So it immediately gets a 15-kilometer range boost from the ship. So all your drones, which standard start at 21 kilometers, are now going to be 36 kilometers on the standard when it just jumps into the ship. Now, if you have completed your research, you are going to add an additional 10 kilometers to it. That's your standard drone research and your advanced drone research. That's going to pull you up to uh, an additional 10. That's 46 kilometers out with this vessel standard. Adding in your boost is going to give you another couple of kilometers, so you might get something like 50 to 60 depending on your total research in your medium drones. Okay, so moving down into advanced drone upgrades, plus 30% DPS, plus 5% EHP. So overall, what this is going to do is going to allow you to do a lot of damage. So once your medium drone bonus is at maximum in the advanced slot, you are going to be doing 150% extra damage. Now, it may not seem like it's that huge, but 150% extra damage is double plus half. So you're basically doubling your power and you're adding half of your original power into that. So 2.5 times the damage is what you're doing to any enemy when your drones focus on them. Okay, going down, the battle cruiser command improves the armor efficiency for repairs. So overall, as I said, once you have enough command on the ship, it's going to be a viable option for you to run in a armor build. Now that applies for all of those ships that I mentioned, but you're most likely going to reach T8, and there are going to be better ships with better stats and better weapon configurations for you to take the battle even closer than you currently would. Okay, jumping into the overall defense. It has around a 25,000, 26,000 overall defense, 191 meters per second, putting it in the same class as speed as the Prophecy. But if I'm correct, it is, wait, this here is faster than the Prophecy, which would make it the second and the Prophecy the third. It's one of the two is faster than the other, so either one will swap out with the other. Warp speed is the standard. Power output is 651 megawatts, putting it on the lower side of the power for your battle cruisers. Its capacitor is 2689 gigajoules, putting it in the battle cruiser class for capacitor. It is one of the better capacitors in this range. It isn't the best, and it got a standard cargo hold at 800 cubic meters. Okay, so let's start going into the breakdown of its defense. So the defense on the ship is broken down into a weak shield, um, strong armor, but the strongest is the hull. That's because it's a galleon ship. It's a standard galleon breakdown on. Sorry, standard breakdown on a galleon ship. So that is your standard breakdown. As you can see, everything is as we have gone through. It's exactly similar to other ships in its class. So let's go through to look at its price quickly, just for a quick update on the market. Since they were all trading around the same price, let's see if it's increased or decreased recently. It is also in the 300 million mark. These marks in price can go up and down daily. Depends on who is selling and what are they trying to do. Because a lot of players have been flooding the market with cheap ships to pull other players off the market. Now, that's how some players play. It's a good way to go for playing in the long run, but it's not a good way to keep allies and keep friends in the game. Okay, so getting on with the more important issues on the ship, I will make a discussion video later. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching.